Now the point about legal is it operates entirely via paperwork on names, which we know as legal fiction persons. How many people here don't know what a legal fiction person is? Okay. When I said that legalese is an English lookalike, one of the deceptions is the word person, P-E-R-S-O-N. If you go to a law dictionary where you get legal definitions, and you look up what a person is, defined as being, it will say, in definition number 1, a natural person, which means a human being. And you think, well, that's it, yes, that's what a person is. I'm a person, I'm a human being, I'm a person. The trouble with it is that the legal definition goes on with the second definition. It says, it talks about artificial people. Now, what is an artificial person? It explains any partnership, any corporation, any company. So, in legal, the word person can mean a company. What do I mean by a company? Tesco, Asda is a person in legal. And you think, well, I don't know, that sounds a bit strange. That's why I say legalese is an English lookalike, because when you read it, you don't really realise what you're reading, because the definitions are different. Now, a legal fiction person is a name. Tesco, it's a name. Asda, it's a name. Sainsbury's, it's a name. Shell, it's a name. And that's a legal fiction person. Something named. And the whole point is that because you are named, when they apply legal to you, they're not applying it to your flesh and blood, they're applying it to the name on your birth certificate. What effect that has, fundamentally, without going into details, it translates in all the shite that you end up with in your life. When you get parking fines, speeding fines, mortgage repossessions, you take out loans and you can't pay them back, and all kinds of things. Now, I know I've skipped a whole lot at that point. I mean, I've skipped an enormous amount because, as I say, I can only run over so much in this presentation. That's what it translates to. It's the shite that means you're sitting here today, is what that translates to. So that's what a legal fiction person does. That's the effect it has. Fundamentally, what they do, common law works on human beings and doesn't need names. For example, if someone sees out in the street and sees someone come up and pull out a knife and rob someone else, and a witness sees that happen and gets called in by the police to go on an identity parade, the people standing in the identity parade do not have their names standing there. They don't have their name written on a board or something. They just stand there. And the witness goes up and looks and see if they can spot the person who wielded the knife. The witness may not know that person and never seen that person before, doesn't know the name. The name's irrelevant. It's that human being. So an identity parade is a very common law thing. In court, in a court with a jury, the witness may be on the witness stand having taken an oath to tell the truth under penalty of perjury, and be asked a question in court. Do you see the person who wielded the knife? Yes, it was in what done it, Your Honour. Because the witness looks at, he sees the person who held the knife and points that person out. They don't name that person. They say, oh, it was Mr. Such and Such or Miss Such and Such. They just point and say, that is the person I saw. That's common law, human to human. And basically what common law is it's, we see what's happening, we write it down. When they create these legals, these statutes, they do the opposite. Parliament writes it down and votes on it, and they then consider that becomes reality. That's fundamentally the way it works, or the way they think it works. But you can't create reality by writing it down. And one of the things that's happening in the freedom movement at the moment is we're finding all those things that they tried to write down, but there were so many of them they couldn't. And we're using those things to ask questions about it. And we're finding that when we ask the questions, they can't answer us. Lawful operates naturally, like natural law, on humans. That's the common law. Here's an example. A deed poll can detach one name and associate a different name, but the human being remains exactly the same.